Hey, so Kris isn't with us today. He's at South by Southwest, so we're going
Lucky
to
bastard.
yeah, we're gonna use this episode to talk about all that stuff Kris doesn't give a shit about, like video games, and it's gonna be fun because Zach got a PS5. I already had one. We're gonna talk about some stuff. I swear, at least 10% will be horror related. So don't worry about that. And
I
plus,
watched
Zach's
a
got
horror movie, Casey.
Yeah, Zach's got a movie. I've got a little bit of stuff to talk about too. So yeah, let's get going.
Welcome to another miserable podcast, Horror Decomposed. How's it going, everybody? Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Zach, joined today by the one and only Professor Casey.
Hey, yeah, dude, this is interesting. We lost an hour of sleep last night.
I don't
Ooh.
really feel like it. I tried to go to bed a little earlier. It hasn't hit me too bad today.
Yeah, let's put it this way. I'm drinking a soda at, well, now it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Coca-Cola Starlight, by the way. It tastes like cotton candy to me. General consensus is cotton candy or toasted marshmallow. I see where they could say that.
I've heard some people say it's medicinal, but most people seem to like it. But that was like the one negative review I've heard of it.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. I tend to feel like it's drinking Coca-Cola with with cotton candy in your mouth. Like if you're at the fair and you're doing both, that's kind of the taste that it.
I mean, I think the design is great. I haven't seen
color-wise
any out in the wild.
Very medicinal. The liquid color.
Okay.
Like
a violet sort of.
Yeah, but it's really dark and it just looks like something like a doctor would give you to cure a cough or something. It's like Robitussin color, so that's medicinal.
I have not. You know what I don't like about when you get a weekend where you have to get up early both days? It doesn't feel like a weekend. Like I had a dentist appointment at 9:30 yesterday, and now I'm recording at or it's about 10 o'clock today. But I didn't sleep in today because the daylight savings. So this is not the most fun weekend for me, but
yeah, but we had to record because I'm going to a teaching conference next week, so we would have to skip too many episodes. So we're not doing the Nickelodeon episode today because we wanted to wait for Zach for that
Disney episode.
I'm sorry, the Disney episode.
The scary Disney decom episode where we're going to talk about 3 quote unquote scary Disney Channel original movies. Scary, very much in quotes. But
yeah, and Kris was really stoked to do that, so we're not going to do that without him.
We weren't going to do that without him. There's no way. But yeah, so stay tuned for the Phantom of the Megaplex, Mr. Boogedy, Don't Look Under the Bed talk. That'll be a fun episode.
I do want to do a little horror talk at the beginning. I know you saw a movie. I've been watching Freddy's Nightmares.
I was going to say, before we go any further, I think we need to address the Amityville in space in the room.
Yeah, I mean, there's Amityville in space, but we got, like, Sharkula coming out, too, and it's like...
They are by the same company. So this is the company, Wild Eye Releasing. I thought we could put a little spotlight on them briefly, because I find them very fascinating. So they did Velocipaster. Mm-hmm. That's probably their greatest claim to fame.
Makes me not want to see any of those movies. I didn't know that. I have seen Velocipaster. No, I'm out now.
They've done Shark Exorcist, Sharkenstein, which I need to see that trailer for Sharkenstein, because that sounds just as rad as Sharkula. But there is a movie, Casey. I saw a teaser trailer for it from them that you need to look up. It's called Freak, and you need to look it up just because I want you to see the monster in this movie. It looks like it's a really just goofy looking puppet. It looks like a cross between the alien from Mac and Me and like Pumpkinhead.
Oh.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It looks like something you would find at like a Spirit Halloween store. Maybe, you know.
Probably. At least they didn't try doing CGI for it. Hey.
You know, I admire the kind of low budget, no budgetness of their films, and I haven't seen even Velocipaster, so I do want to check them out.
Yeah, you'll see it, and you won't care about anything else they ever do again.
So if you're a fan of things like Sharknado, but want to see it with like practical effects and even less of a budget,
watch Carousel instead, because it's
watch
actually
Carousel.
good.
Watch Carousel. Carousel 2, now available on Tubi. Steve Rzinski,
Yes.
our good buddy, just tweeted it out. Go support independent filmmaking. Support Steve. Carousel 2 is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the heck out of that movie. Again, if you want to see a kind of immortal Nazi witch drain a guy's soul from his body by giving him oral, you need to watch Carousel 2. And that's my pitch for that movie, as I've said in the past on the show. It's a lot of fun. So it just goes there. And that's the great thing about Steve and his movies. He goes for it, man. And you can see how much care is put into his films. So please support Steve. Check out Carousel 2 on Tubi. And also go to his website, silverspotlightfilms.com. He has this whole Steve Buster streaming service. You can watch all of his movies. They're great.
If you want to support him more directly, do that or buy some Blu-ray. I do got to say, Tubi is kicking everyone's ass. They have just look.
I feel like we say this every episode.
Yeah, but they just added, Tromeo and Juliet, Graduation Day, Death by Temptation, Frightmare. So a lot of trauma stuff. But if you look a little bit back, a little bit further, you see stuff like the Predator movies, Thing, Return of the Living Dead, Lake Placid, the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They're getting big budget and small budget horror. They have the Tim Curry It series. They have just a little bit of everything. They did have all of the Elm Street movies also, but they're starting to show up on other streaming services. I don't know if they still do. But it's like, I look at this stuff because what I do, and I suggest every horror fan does this if you're listening, is first of all, download the Just Watch app onto your phone. Then there's a filter setting that you can have it just tell you new horror releases. You click on the new tab, you put on a filter for horror releases. I also do an extra filter where it only tells me about horror releases between like 1980 and 2000. Because I want to see if there's like a slasher movie I haven't seen popping up somewhere. And it's been helping me find stuff that Tubi adds so much that it gets buried in all of the other stuff they add. You know, Shudder will do like 10 new releases and one old one, and I want to see the old one, you know. So this is a good way to do that. So while we're talking about streaming services, been watching a lot of Freddy's Nightmares. The show is absolute garbage, but fucking love it. It's the best garbage. How many episodes did you get in, Zach?
A resounding 0.
Okay.
I almost watched one this morning, but I decided to play a little Elden Ring and a little WWE 2K22 because I figured we were going to talk about those in the episode.
So check this out though. The first episode's actually like awesome because it's Toby Hooper doing a Nightmare on Elm Street sequel. Okay,
that's great.
You gotta see the first
episode.
episode.
Me already. Yeah, you sold me already.
So lately, it's been a glut of video games coming in because right now we're getting all the releases that were supposed to probably be holiday releases last year. But COVID delays and all that stuff happened. And so I've been playing more video games than I've been watching stuff. Like, big time. I've been catching up on what we do in the shadows also, but
yes.
I mean, I'm still behind, so it's not really worth talking about
Catch up, dude. It's so good. Best show on TV.
It's definitely in the running if it's not. The show's tremendous. Still kind of prefer the movie, but love both. I do gotta say, though, that it makes Hulu worth the price of admission. Especially between that and, like, Dark Side of the Rings on there and, like, all kinds of great stuff. So I definitely think Hulu's picking stuff up, but Zach, didn't you watch something on Hulu that you wanted to talk about?
I did. This is like one of the the new Hulu kind of releases that's been getting a lot of buzz. It's called Fresh. It's directed by Mimi Cave. This is her feature directorial debut. She's done a few short films before.
So this is that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot?
It is. No, this is a horror movie starring Sebastian Stan and Daisy Edgar Jones, who's from, I think, the TV series Normal People, which I haven't seen, but she's great in this. So it's like a black comedy horror thriller. That's basically what it's billed as. And yeah, this isn't, they aren't really, structurally, this film isn't treading any new ground, but it's an entertaining look at kind of the trials and tribulations of the current sort of app-centric dating scene, in 2022, in this era. So like the movie starts off with our protagonist, played by Daisy Edgar Jones. The character's name is Noah, and she's on this date. The date kind of, he got there a little late, and he's kind of asking basically. So he got there late. He's kind of wearing an obnoxious scarf. If you wear a scarf, I'm not saying you're obnoxious. This guy is just, his personality is obnoxious, and is like, he starts talking about how like modern feminine.
I'm saying you're obnoxious if you wear a scarf. I'm saying
if you wear a scarf and it's like 100 degrees out, maybe a little bit. Like, like if you're in the winter, you're fine to wear a scarf.
If you are Alberto Del Rio, human scum. The scarf makes you annoying.
So yeah, she's on a date with this like an obnoxious hipster dude, and he's kind of critiquing her outfit and talking about how like women used to be more in touch with their femininity, like their parents did, and like he goes, you'd look great in a dress, and she's like, you serious? Like,
hey, look, man, the guy was frozen in World War II. What do you expect?
No, so yeah, this douchey dude, like, date doesn't go well. She has a friend named Molly, played by JoJo T. Gibbs, who's also great in this. Anyway, she ends up, the first 30 minutes are basically set up this really kind of sweet meet cute between Noah, Daisy Edgar Jones, and Sebastian Stan, Steve. They meet at a grocery market, and it's a really, the setup is just for a really kind of sweet romantic comedy, romance more than anything else. And then about 33 minutes in the movie, things take a turn.
That's a while.
Yeah. The title screen does not hit until 33 minutes into the movie. Like, the title does not appear.
Okay.
So, and then there's another hour and 30 minutes. This is kind of a long movie.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
That makes it okay then. Like, if it's still got another hour and a half after that, then it makes more sense.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of horror title screens where you're like, okay, the setup is sort of, you don't know exactly where it's going, and then all of a sudden, like, the predicament of the film hits, and then you get the title screen and you're like, okay, strap yourselves in. Like, that's kind of, it's one of those films, like, think of like 127 hours where he's probably trapped in the thing. I'm pretty sure the title screen probably came up after he got trapped or something, I don't remember. But, it's one of those kind of situations. So she goes on actually like a couple dates with this guy, and it kind of moves fast, and her friend is like, what are you like doing? You don't even know this guy. She's kind of someone that's pretty jaded about, dating, and but she has this connection with this dude. Anyway, like I said, structurally, this film doesn't tread a lot of new ground. I don't want to spoil anything. But so after the title credits roll, our protagonist, she kind of ends up in a perilous situation. She's been missing for a few days. And so subsequently, her friend Molly suspects something's wrong. The texts that she's gotten from her don't seem like her. And so she investigates. We've seen this before. So this is like the B plot of the movie, the friend investigating. And then the A plot is, our protagonist who's caught in a situation. There may or may not be more people that are imprisoned with her. And it's one of those.
Remember this B plot in Haunt? It was like the worst part. Oh my god.
Get Out followed the same formula. You know? It's very.
But that best friend was great.
Yeah, this best friend is great too. This is less. Okay. There is humor in this film. It's there's certainly humor in this movie. It did remind me like structurally a lot like Get Out, but it's not on that echelon at all. Mm-hmm. Yeah, insert your favorite horror kind of, abduction thriller, whatever. This is another one of those. If you, there was a movie that came out a few years ago called Greta, which I really enjoyed. I don't think I liked this quite as much as Greta. That was a little bit more of a slow burn. I don't know why I bring that up, but again, this film kind of structurally reminded me of that in a way.
This subgenre is becoming the new.
It's becoming, that came out the same time as like Mama,
Yeah, and oh god, the other one that was on, the one that was on Shudder where they were chasing the girl through the forest. Oh man.
No Exit? Is that? That's No Exit. That's up
don't
now.
think-
I haven't seen that one. I don't know
No,
if that's the one
no,
you're talking
it was an older one. This is becoming the new shooting a horror movie in a haunted house subgenre that's getting a lot of the same movie coming out over and over again.
about. Yeah, it's meeting a stranger or something, and maybe you start a friendship or a
Creep.
relationship, and then yeah, creep things take a turn. The Dave Franco movie that came out that I tried to see at drive-in and was turned away.
Oh yeah.
That's I think a similar formula. That's a very popular subgenre of film. The kind of stalker, serial killer. I don't want to spoil what kind of Sebastian Stan's character's real like deal is, but if you think about the title, you might kind of get an idea.
He's the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that's it.
He killed Tony Stark's
If
parents.
if you're a fan of Hannibal Lecter, you might enjoy this movie.
Nice, nice.
But it's not as visceral as like Silence of the Lambs. I mean, it's kind of. I would say the gore in this is more implied than shown, which I don't mind. It's but yeah, my rating for this was 3 stars. Again, it's nothing that new. It's a slight different twist on this formula. Recommended. Just don't watch it on a date, especially a first date. That would be a very poor choice.
Or,
Watch Society instead.
It depends who picks the movie. Yeah.
Society might be a better choice than this on a first date.
Yeah. Always. Oh man, I just realized I'm about to like recommend a book here, and I'm wearing a black t-shirt and standing in front of my books, and my hair's kind of messed up, and I feel like Adam Caesar right now. I'm recommending a book that I'm like not super deep into, so if it sucks later, I'll let you guys know, but I've been told it doesn't. It's called The Lesser Dead by Christopher Buehlman. It's a excuse me. It's edit. Actually, leave this all in. It's fine. The Lesser Dead by Christopher Buehlman. It is a vampire story, but the vampire's pretty fucked up and freaky, and it's definitely worth reading. It's one of those things where it tells you that you will feel like shit for liking the main character before you even start reading it. And then you're like, oh, this guy's kind of interesting, but he's fucked up. I don't want to like this character, but it's interesting. And it's like one of those things where like you can't turn away from it. I'm loving it. Main character's this dude who was bit by a vampire pretty much like in his mid-teens, and so he uses that to his advantage as a vampire. And there's a lot of disturbing stuff in there, but it's a horror novel, so it should disturb you unless you're fucking weird. And but hey, I understand most of our listeners are fucking weird. I understand. It's okay. You're in a safe place here. We still love you. But I'll let you know how it goes. I'm not super far into it, but I'm liking it so far. Loving the narration style, for sure.
I'm still plugging away at the other Emily by Dean Koontz, and it's taking me way too long because it's got a great setup, but it's just getting kind of wackier and wackier.
The thing is, like, I do a lot of horror novel stuff in the summer. Especially last summer where I had to build like a lot of furniture. So I was listening to, I listened to a whole book just building furniture. So if there's more of that this summer, I'm definitely going to be hearing a lot. And plus I drive a lot, so I get to hear a lot of that stuff. But, I listen to a lot of podcasts when I drive too. A lot of the podcasts I've been listening to lately kind of vary in topic, but I wanted to give a little shout out to one just for being something that we would talk about on this show if we could. Okay. Podcast The Ride. Great theme park podcast. Recommended by our friend Reed. They have a Patreon podcast, bonus podcast called The Second Gate. And they did an episode on Grandpa Munster's restaurant. And he had like an Italian restaurant that they just called Grandpa's. Had nothing to do with the Munsters. But I was so fascinated by that, and then like an episode they did before that on Alan Hale's Lobster Barrel. So the skipper had a restaurant, and he actually in both of these restaurants, like the celebrity would hang out there and greet people. And I just want to throw out that wasn't just for a plug for a podcast, but think about it, dude. Think of all these horror icons that people pay money to meet at a convention, right? If one of them had a restaurant that they were just chilling in the front once in a while, and you can go like meet Kane Hodder and eat a reasonably priced family meal or something, that would be kind of dope, right? Like, I think that's a cool idea. I think it could. I think there's meat on the bone there. Okay, yeah, right now, I've just been looking at everyone's posts. Everyone's looks like they've been having a lot of fun at Monster Mania on the East Coast. Shout out to any of our listeners that went there. And we look forward to having a whole trip report for Monster Palooza come June. So it's going to be a good time. We got to go to Monster Mania sometime, dude.
I mean, I'm more than down. Yeah, I'm certainly jealous of anyone that's going to a horror convention.
It just sucks because I have to work when it's happening. It's if it's not in the summer or on spring or winter break, I'm kind of fucked. But because there's a lot of travel involved, like all the way across the country.
Oh yeah, and it's not close. I'm curious to see what the size of it is compared to like our Monster Palooza or Midsummer Scream, but
yeah, because their guests are pretty high profile. Like they had the whole cast of Dexter, like everyone.
The whole cast? Oh, damn, dude. Shit.
And they have some pretty sweet looking, pro photo ops that you can take, which Monster Palooza is starting to do. But I know a lot of our listeners are local people, so I wanted to give a quick Monster Palooza guest update. Again, this is at the beginning of June. We have Doug Bradley, we have Kane Hodder, we have Tom Savini, we have Dee Wallace, we have Matthew Demerit, we have Mark Dacascos, yes, Crow Stairway to Heaven. We have David Naughton from An American Werewolf in London also.
Yes.
So there are some new guests in there.
If I see David Naughton, I'm going to ask him about his stellar performance in Beanstalk and just what he was going through. With that
Dude,
character.
I bet you're the only
I'm gonna
person
ask him. I'm going to ask him if he still has the pet grasshopper.
Okay, so I'm going to give you shit every time we walk by that table until you do it now. You should not have told me that.
Sir, I loved you in Beanstalk. No, he was great in Beanstalk. I don't know why I'm
He'd be like, no one has ever
good.
said that to me, ever.
Beanstalk is my favorite movie. Can you sign? I wonder if anyone's ever gotten him to sign Beanstalk merch. I mean, he has a bit role in that film, so.
Dude, what if he has a Beanstalk 8x10? You have to at that point.
See, if I saw Richard Mole, Richard Mole, he'd be the one to get to sign the Beanstalk poster because he's like the villain in that film.
Oh, see, I'd want him to do Dungeon Master. I heard that, like, he's pretty angry about Night Court, so you don't bring that up to him.
Oh, I'm sure he loves Beanstalk.
Yeah.
Speaking of horror conventions, Midsummer Scream, why did you schedule it during Casey's birthday weekend, man?
Yeah, I might not be able to go. I might be doing other stuff. But we'll see.
I love you so much. Why?
Yeah, why do you gotta make it so hard to love you, Midsummer Scream? Come on. Doing Christmas conventions and then scheduling the good one during my birthday?
The Christmas convention looked awesome, and I regret not going, but Casey just can't wrap his head around anything Christmas.
No. I told you.
You like Krampus, too.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go to a Krampus convention. I mean...
Oh, my gosh, dude. Ugh.
So, okay, main topic of this episode. Zach got a PS5. I have a PS5, and we want to talk to you about some recent releases. Not all horror-y. I'd say the most horror-y one that we both played is Demon Souls 4. I mean, Elden Ring.
Well, I guess I should describe how I got the PS5 real quickly. If you're still trying to get one, I sympathize with you. It should not be this hard to get a PS5. It's ridiculous.
Congratulations to good homie Meatflow from the UK. He just got one.
Anyway, so yeah, I've been wanting to get a PS5 for a bit, but it really hasn't been on my radar until I got an email from PlayStation getting invited to one of the PlayStation Directs. I got it, I think a little bit after my birthday, and I was like, oh, maybe I should look into getting a PS5. I wasn't really thinking about it because they're so hard to get. But So I went to the direct. I like got into the lobby area early, and like as soon as I got in, I added it to my cart. And then like when I went to check out, I get a notification saying, "Oh, the PS5s are sold out," and that was the first disappointment.
And that's kind of how I got mine. Like, I got mine direct from Sony at launch, so I've had mine for a while.
So I found out that you can reuse PlayStation Direct links next time there's another PlayStation Direct, and I heard about another one coming up. So I tried again. I got in the lobby even earlier, like an hour early. And then my queue was maybe like, I don't know, it was 20 minutes or whatever. The queue fluctuates. But I got in and they were immediately sold out. I didn't even get to add it to the cart. So at that point, I was like, you know what? Forget the PlayStation Direct. I'm going to have to find it another way. So I had like this app called Hotstock, and I had like all my alerts on, and I kept tabs on a couple some of the Twitter accounts that, show you PS5 stock and things like that. And I heard of a Walmart drop coming up. And I was at work. This is the difficult thing with me. These drops happen while I'm at work. I have to be at work early. And so I was on my phone. I didn't really have a computer to do it with.
Yeah. Yeah, mine, I had like two computers side by side. I was at work, but I had two computers side by side.
So I get in this Walmart queue. I really wasn't expecting much. And, you hitting the app really quick, and I'm like in a queue, and it's like 35-minute wait. And I'm like, okay, there's no way I'm getting this PS5. 35 minutes. There's no way. The Walmart queue works a little differently than PlayStation, though. And it kept going down gradually, but I still was like, there's no way I'm going to get in. It's going to be way sold out. Like I was seeing people on Twitter saying they had like 9-minute queues or 2-minute queues or whatever, like way ahead of me. And I was like, this isn't happening. But I got in. And when you get in, you have as much time like as you need, or at least 10 minutes to order your PS5. And I did. And I was like, oh, snap, that happened. So that's how I got it. I know that was a scintillating story. But yeah, it's been cool. I got it because I wanted a PS5, but Elden Ring, everyone's been talking about Elden Ring. It's kind of like the new Skyrim, so to speak, in terms of at least dominating the conversation. Very different game from Skyrim.
I hope you're enjoying the game that looks almost exactly the same on the PS4. In fact, both of the games you're playing look very similar on PS4 right now.
Casey is very much a graphic snob, if you could tell.
I am, but I'm not. Like,
yes, you are.
I prefer gameplay over graphics, but I'm not that big on soul-style gameplay. Doesn't. Dude, I play Fire Pro. How much you play it?
Elden Ring looks. I think the art direction is wonderful. The creature design is the coolest like I've ever seen. Just about. There's so many. You can make a horror movie based on any one of the monsters.
Dude, have you seen the fucking hand spiders?
Yeah, those are terrifying.
Yeah. Okay, so they're spiders made out of fingers, but like not like a hand. Like it's a shitload of fingers. Yeah, they dig underground and like pop out at you.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's some good shit.
My favorite thing about Elden Ring just drops you into this world. The story is, obtuse and not that engaging. It's there was a ring and it shattered, and some bad people have the rings, and you have to get the rings back and put the world together, and you're like a tarnished person from the old world, and yada yada yada. That was a really poor summary. But
you're a tarnished person because you die at the beginning of the game and you come back to life, and it's and
you're maidenless, as it goes.
Yeah, there's a maiden that's supposed to help you, and everyone shits on you for being maidenless. Even when you get a maiden, they still shit on you for being maidenless. I went back and talked to that asshole, and he did not change what he was saying.
It's like Elden Ring, you're getting a little personal, man.
Did you ever hit that dude? That first dude that's yelling at you?
No, I didn't.
Don't?
Mistake.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I don't know what level Casey's at because he's been playing a lot of 2K. But we are, I'm sure, like the last.
I'm below 20. I'm somewhere between 15 and 20.
Yeah, so we're in the exact same spot. I'm really enjoying it. I'm just so many people are like way farther in it than we are.
So okay, what builds are you? Because my coworker, I picked the astrologer, and he told me that was easy mode, but I do not care if it's easy mode. I enjoy this class.
Okay, cool. I do like magic. I chose the vagabond because I heard that was also one of the easiest classes to get into for a beginner. It's like the knight.
Is that the one with
shield.
the axe?
No,
The knight.
it's like your basic like Dark Souls character with a shield and a sword. It's
Gotcha.
it's like the archetype Dark Souls type character.
Astrologer's a wizard. I should have said
Yeah.
that. Shoots spells from far away. They have it that you can. There's more resource management in this game than the others, so you can recharge your mana a lot easier. And being a wizard isn't like a death wish anymore.
Yeah. That's my one issue is the ranged attacks so far. Like the bow and arrow isn't great yet. I need to get more arrows, and I hope I can dabble in a little bit magic.
You got to get my mystic pebble and arc that you get for the astrologer. Those
your
are
mystic
great.
pebble.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah. And then there's like an arc that does like a little area effect that you can hit a bunch of people at once. Some definite like oh shit moments. They're pretty good at like hiding characters, but there's a system where you can see notes from other people, and you know if you see a bunch of notes around, something's going to jump out at you. So I suggest playing offline so you never see those notes. That's what I'm doing.
I have been playing offline, and you can still summon people if you're playing offline. At least I was able to summon someone at one point because there was like a circle on the ground that said, "Do you want help with this boss?" And I was like, "Yes, please." So you can, I think, summon people even if you're playing offline. I did turn off the notes. I think it's great that people can communicate that way, but it just became a little overbearing. There was so much of it like littered on the ground.
I've only really killed one boss. I killed that. Have you fought the wild man yet? That lives in the wolf cave. He lives with all the wolves. Yeah, he's a boss.
Yeah, I beat him. Yeah, he's a mini boss. He's not like one of the big like overworld bosses that are like in dungeons, basically.
He wasn't overly difficult.
I've killed a couple of those boss. Well, one of them I killed with a player that was obviously way higher rank than me and helped me. There was like two it was like another cave, and there was two kind of similar to that guy, but a little bigger. There was these two kind of wraithy looking hulking dudes, and they had like some kind of goblin creatures in there as well. So we able to get through that. I haven't
seen the gargoyles.
The green gargoyles.
The little guys that live in the tomb.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
They scare the shit out of you when they first show up.
Because they're on the walls, and they'll like jump down from the walls.
No, and what's cool is if you kill enough of them, eventually one of them drops their head as a helmet.
Yeah.
So you have like a mask of the goblin dude as your head, which looks cool as shit. Decent protection too. Decent protection. But I enjoy it more than any other From Software game I've played, but that's still not a whole lot. Like it's all right. I'm not super into it. Not really my kind of game.
I'm definitely into it. It's just like every session is sort of okay, where can I get my ass kicked today?
I thought the graphics and design were cooler in Sekiro by like a long shot.
I still the creature design is like second to none as far as I'm concerned. I haven't played Sekiro, but I love any open world game where it just drops you into this beautiful landscape and is like, go out and see what you can find. Compared to, I was playing a little bit of Horizon Zero Dawn before on my PS4 Pro, and that game I will say graphically is comparable to Elden Ring on the PS5. I mean, but that's a much more vibrant kind of world. I'm sure the Forbidden Lands looks amazing on a PS5.
I'd say like if you really want to see like a showcase of the graphical power, even though it looks pretty good on PS4.
Forbidden West, sorry.
I'd say Resident Evil is the way to go. Resident Evil Village. Amazing graphics in that one. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
but yeah, I mean, I think the cool thing about Elden Ring that everyone's touched on, again, we're not saying anything. We're like, if you want to hear like deep Elden Ring discussion, go to like Kinda Funny or Easy Allies. There's tons of great video game podcasters.
Love it.
But so
WWE 2K22, bro. Come on.
One sec before we get into that, I have a couple more things to say about Elden Ring. So there are no waypoints or anything like that. So you really are just free to kind of explore. And I think one of my favorite things about Elden Ring is you'll stumble upon like portals, and they'll take you to like areas that are probably way too high level for you, but you get like just dropped down into like I was like in an elevator and I got dropped down to like some other realm, and it's just like all these dudes with like throwing spells at me, and this has happened to me a couple times, and you just have to like get out of dodge. Like you're like I can't like be here, so you just kind of like scrounge for resources and try and save your ass.
I haven't been to the one that's got a dragon that's supposedly like kind of easy to kill, and then like a huge rune source that people are using to farm.
I haven't because I think you can only kill him once, so I haven't done that yet. But yeah, that's one of my cool things is you'll kind of, and even when you like get quests, you will find NPCs in this world. When you get
Yeah.
quests, it doesn't like there's no quest log. You just have to listen to them and go, okay, well they told me to do something, and you have to look
Or
on your map.
yeah,
And see
like
if you can,
you'll read a map, but it won't mark shit. Like you just gotta read the little note that the guy at the store sells you, and then go do what he says without seeing anything on a map. All the marks you gotta put on yourself.
It's not the most player friendly game, but it is like it throws you in there, and it's like go adventure, and good luck, and you're gonna get your ass kicked. It's gonna take me like 8 years to beat.
Yeah, the map alone is like kind of infuriating because you have to mark everything yourself unless
Yeah.
it's like a save point. But yeah.
But I will say, Elden Ring, if you are new to the Dark Souls kind of series franchise, give it a look. I think there's some. If you like monsters, if you like fantasy, if you like swinging swords at things or throwing spells at things, if you've been kind of looking for something to fill that like kind of Skyrim itch,
I say
it a
play it
shot.
at a friend's house and see if you like it first.
I think
That's
it's
my tip.
it is a little grindy, but there's so much. Anytime I boot it up, I always see something interesting. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm glad I bought it, and it's been a good time. So there's another game that came out recently.
Well, hold
Wrestling game.
on. I got another one in between because
Okay.
let's go in release order here. Also picked up for the PS5 is Gran Turismo 7. Even if you don't like cars, this game rules, okay? I know a lot of people think, oh, sim racing. Like, if you haven't played the series before, you're like, oh, sim racing, dude, I can't handle that shit. There's all kinds of assists and stuff like that. I still use braking assists. I still do not win every race, and I still have a hard time with the AI. So, it's pretty fun. Probably the best looking simulation racing game I've seen. I know that Forza Horizon like destroys it graphically, but it's also an arcade racing game and not a sim. But everything looks super great, especially in the replays and stuff like that. Runs really smooth, like no loading times, which is awesome. Because the next game we're going to talk about, I don't think knows what an SSD is. So, yeah, this is like a top level game that it took them like 10 years to make. It's a complete work of art and a masterpiece, and it has this chill vibe that is just so tranquil. I know that sounds weird for a racing game because you think racing is like getting your adrenaline pumping and all that stuff, but it's all like smooth cafe jazz, and you're just kind of chilling. Like all the goals you have, you get in a cafe from like this old dude that likes talking to you about cars, and he's just like, oh yeah, collect these cars. Yeah, you're just sitting in this, and I'll give you a prize. Do it on your own time. And there's also this really cool mode called Scapes, which is a photography mode that has all of these locations from around the world. Something like 2,500 different locations from around the world. Some pretty notable ones that I've personally been to are in there, though. Some are gone because of licensing issues. Like the Cabazon dinosaurs are in there, so you can get whatever weird car you want and take a picture with the dinosaurs. It's pretty cool. Las Vegas, they couldn't get the strip, so they have Fremont Street, which is kind of weird, but it's kind of cool how the lighting affects the car.
Can you
in a
drive through
glorified
it?
Photo. No, it's just a backdrop, but
Aw, man.
it's a backdrop where they match the lighting so perfectly that you think you're actually in a 3D space when you're not, which is
So
really
it's just
cool.
to like take pictures.
Yeah, it's a photo mode.
See, I want to drive through it, man. Like that doesn't. I don't need to. I'm not a big enough car guy that I'm gonna go. Let me take a picture of this car on a 3D backdrop. Like I don't know. Like I can appreciate the graphics, but like I want to. The reason Forza Horizon would appeal to me, but it's on Xbox, so I can't play it. Is because you're just like driving through a big open world and kind of you can chill out.
There's other games that do that. Oh God, was it The Crew that had it that you would go all the way across the United States?
Something like that, but I don't think the graphics of that one are as up to par.
No, that game looked terrible, but the driving across the United States was fun. It took like a half hour to do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but yeah, like no one played that game, and it kind of looked like shit. Next game, okay, WWE 2K22. First thing that I have to say is it does not suck like 2K20. Do not worry. For those of you that don't know, 2K20 was so bad, so filled with glitches, so horrible that they skipped a year and decided not to put out a game last year. And also, it was so bad that reportedly WWE is in talks with EA just in case this game fucks up. That they have, because I'm pretty sure 2K probably violated their contract by not putting a game out last year. So, because they're supposed to do yearly games. So, this isn't just a roster update. They've actually significantly overhauled the controls, done a new combo system, which I think actually works great. Despite the fears everyone had going into it, it works pretty good. There's some issues with the game right now, tag matches and like universe mode crashes and stuff that hopefully get patched. They actually patched a few problems pretty quickly, because I bought the NWO edition, so I got to play it 3 days early, and there were issues there that they fixed by regular launch day. So they're putting the work in, which is cool. Graphically, it looks great, but it looks great on a PS4 Pro also. There's just some lighting differences and some resolution differences big time because we're playing in 4K. Almost all of the wrestlers look like they should.
I think in ring it looks good. If you see a lot of their faces close up, a lot of them are cross-eyed.
Well, it's not as bad as 2K20 with the cross-eyedness. It's an issue with the camera and not really their eyes. But you're not looking at them head on because they don't do that menu screen where you're staring at their eyes anymore. And the only time you're that close up is when you're in the creation modes, which have been reduced a little bit. And I'm not happy about some of that. But I do got to say, though, Andre the Giant looks fucked up. He's always looked fucked up. But yeah, he looks really bad. But they didn't have him to take a shortcut and just scan the dude. What are they going to do? Get a shovel, and then scan his bones? I don't know. But
That was morbid. Jesus, dude.
But Macho Man looks all right. He looks better than last year for sure. He looked pretty terrible. But yeah, like people actively on the roster that they could scan, like good homie Cross, like looks exactly like him, eerily. Some of the people on the roster, you're just like, ooh, like The Rock, you're just like, dude, that's a little too realistic looking. But as someone who's not even a fan of the current WWE product, I thoroughly enjoy this game, but a lot of the reasons I enjoy it is because it doesn't accurately portray the current product because it has a lot of the people they released in the last year, because they've released over 70 people. For those of you that don't follow wrestling, if you don't follow wrestling, you'll have fun with this game just messing with creation mode and like doing Freddy versus Jason if you want, okay? There's a whole thing with scanning images into the game that makes very realistic creator wrestlers. And there's some assets in the game specifically to make horror characters. Like, I do have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre ring entrance just on my dude. And it's a little more Leatherface than Chainsaw Charlie, too. So, Terry would bounce a little bit more. And there's a pretty clear Jason hockey mask. Looks a little better when people texture it. How much did you get to play of it, Zach?
I've only played a couple matches. The new control scheme is very interesting. It's weird because there's like multiple kind of reversal buttons. Before it was just like one button reversed everything, and it was a little too easy to reverse stuff.
Yeah, you haven't played in a while. It's been 2 buttons to reverse things for a while.
Well, I didn't play 2K20 at all, so
I think it might have been on 19. Grapples and strikes had different reverse buttons.
I didn't remember that, so I'm still getting used to the new control scheme, but I like it. I just played a match this morning with against Happy Corbin. I was with Pete Dunne, and he kicked my ass, but I didn't manage to win.
His name is Butch.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I think it's a really Yeah, graphically, I think it looks nice. I'm excited to see how it compares to the AEW game, like gameplay wise. I'm really interested to see how that turns out. That'll be a fun comparison when the
I'm
time
sure it's going
comes.
to be the AEW game is going to be much better gameplay wise, but not that I think the gameplay in this is bad. Really reversal wise, yeah, there's all those like combo breakers. You just need to know triangle. That still reverses everything. The cool thing is reversals for moves have different timing now. It's not just at the lockup, it's in the point of the move where it actually would be reversed in real life, which is kind of cool. Uh, I would say like I played a lot because I had it 3 days early. The the game came out like 2 days ago. If you didn't get that edition, so I've been playing it for about like 5 days now, and the My Rise, where you create a wrestler and you go through a bunch of different storylines, like the career mode in the game, has some amazing storylines in it. I'm gonna get a little spoilery right now, okay? Because I gotta talk about some of these storylines I had, okay? So one of them is that I shit talked Umberto Carrillo and told him he was ugly. So he challenged me to a reverse mask match where you have to wrestle and the loser has to wear a mask of their opponent's picking. So I beat him and he had to dress like a giant chicken from then on. And so I had a feud with him as a chicken, which is pretty great.
What were the mask options that you could choose?
They didn't let me pick the mask.
Oh.
I was a little disappointed there. But there are like branching choose your own adventure-y choices, and you can refuse to help people or you can be cool with people. I had one that Kane tweeted that he was online, known piece of shit in real life, Kane. So it was a show in Knoxville, and so you go and you beat the shit out of him backstage, and he's just Mayor Kane at that point. He's no mask, wearing a suit, corporate Kane looking. You beat him up, and then eventually he starts interfering in your matches, and you're like, okay, whatever, I'll kick Kane's ass, right? So eventually you beat Kane, and you send him a tweet saying something, hey, leave the scary stuff to your goth older brother. Well, Undertaker gets pissed at that. So now you're feuding with the Undertaker and Kane. And yeah, it gets interesting. You have a little tag match where Randy Orton helps. I wish you could pick your partners. You can. I get saddled with all kinds of dumb shits in this story. But you end up having a Hell in a Cell match with the Undertaker, which is awesome. And he cheats in it because I was beating him and then the lights went out and he teleported behind me, which is something he did in some of the older games when they had a mode that you had to beat the Undertaker and at WrestleMania. It was super hard. So that happens. That's a whole little storyline too. I had a great one where I started yelling at Biff for talking in all caps on Twitter. And then he hacks your phone and starts like tweeting stuff about how great Oni Lorcan is. So you smash his phone and he's like, oh, that had a voicemail on there from my dead grandpa and you destroyed it. And so you feel bad and buy him a phone and he's like, my grandpa's alive, you dumbass. And he's going to watch me kick your ass right now. And I'm like, oh, this is so great. I heard that there's a storyline. I don't know how real this is, okay? Because I had a really weird storyline. I had a weird storyline when I was still in the performance center learning how to wrestle that Road Dogg told me, imagine yourself wrestling a WWE superstar. So it had a match where I went back in time and I wrestled the Macho Man and I won. And he's like, well, yeah, you should win in your imagination, but now you have a handicap match against The Rock and Stone Cold in your imagination. And I'm just like, oh, fuck. I barely beat the Macho Man. But I ended up beating The Rock before he could even tag in. So, yeah, tapped out to the Buzz Killer, which is great. Yeah, this was quite interesting. But I heard I'm on Raw. I heard it's on SmackDown. I just switched to SmackDown so I can try to do it. There's a feud with Rey Mysterio where you steal Eddie's lowrider.
Is this My Rise mode set in like 1998? Like
no, Eddie's dead. Okay.
No,
You
but
steal
like
his
these storylines
lowrider.
are like it looks like it's mainly with Attitude Era stars, which I'm not complaining. I'm just
No,
curious.
Road Dogg's old Road Dogg, like trainer Road Dogg.
I know, but
at the Performance
I
Center.
know it's just I guess that was a dream with Rock and Mankind and but Undertaker and Kane.
No, it was Rock and Stone Cold. Mankind is not in the game. Undertaker and Kane were current Undertaker and Kane. I heard that you start hallucinating that the ghost of Eddie Guerrero beats you up. And I need to see the storyline. I need to fight the ghost of Eddie Guerrero. It's my goal. Yeah, it's amazing. I really
You better let him win if you fight him.
No, dude. I had this one storyline where Hulk Hogan starts talking about how he wants to do a farewell tour in Japan, so I beat the shit out of him. And then apparently Kushida's favorite wrestler is Hulk Hogan, which makes no fucking sense. And so Kushida defends his honor. And so I have to fight Hogan with Kushida in his corner.
What were they thinking when they came up with this?
I don't know. It would make more sense for Nakamura because he actually loved American wrestling. Like, that would make sense. I don't know. It
sounds like they like picked wrestler names out of a hat and it's like, okay, let's throw them in this storyline. It doesn't make any sense. But why not?
Yeah, because they're like, we need a Japanese wrestler that's a male, and we have two. Let's go with Kushida. What else are we going to do?
Why do they need a Japanese wrestler for that specific storyline?
Because it took place in Japan.
Oh, okay.
Because
So
you
this
needed
is
to
like
do
the
it
wackiest. I think if you enjoy historically WWE like video game like career modes are goofy as hell, and if you enjoy like super hammy, cheesy storylines, like I know like the social media plays a big part in these storylines, and you're feeding with people through like Twitter. Like if you enjoy really goofy things and like kind of bad acting, I think you'll have fun with it.
Oh, and you'll go and you'll see some fat Mark named Mark at like a bar, and he starts like trying to talk to you about like how great some wrestler is, and you're like, nah, I could kick their ass. What the fuck? And you gotta like, and then you get in like a fight. This girl's like, is some girl at a pool hall's all like, oh, hey, could you beat this guy in a tag match so that my fantasy league goes better? And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna fucking help you. Get out of here. And because I'm going pure heel with this. Pure heel. Getting in weird feuds with people and stuff like that. Had this great feud with Cameron Grimes that had Jeff Hardy get involved. Just fun stuff. I really enjoy the mode. Showcase mode. Showcasing the career of Rey Mysterio. Fucking garbage. They started it in 2005 except for one match. But that one match is my favorite wrestling match of all time, which is the Halloween Havoc match, Eddie versus Rey. Okay? There's some interesting things in that match. First of all, you unlock old school mullet Eddie, which, yes, thank you. You unlock Phantom outfit Rey Mysterio. Thank you. Okay. Really cool is if you lose the match, there's this whole cutscene where Eddie unmasks you too, which is awesome. You're going to lose the match a couple times. There's a lot of things to fail, and Eddie's kind of strong. I've never liked the showcase modes and the hitting certain objectives during a match. It's always dumb stuff like grapple Eddie Guerrero against the ring ropes and hit this one move. And then like the presentation's been like upped though, and it works great with the SSD because they're just like, here's this part of the match, and then it seamlessly cuts to a video of the match and documentary footage, and then it seamlessly cuts back to the match, which is really like a cool thing. But also, you can't skip that shit.
Objectives like that in like a wrestling video game, like within a match, like hit this many submission, unless it's like a tutorial, it's not fun. You just want to do what you want. It's not like a open world like level where you have to take out a few guys or like it's a quest or something. It's just like it's. And
I know
annoying.
what people are saying. They're like, oh, why don't you just unlock all that shit with the accelerator? It doesn't unlock the showcase stuff. You still have to do showcase to unlock it. And there's stuff in My Rise you still have to do My Rise to unlock.
I have heard like one of the cool features of showcase mode. I don't know if this is with all the matches. Is that it'll transition between clips from the actual match itself and then back into gameplay.
Like yes, like points. I just said 3 seconds ago.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So,
but that's cool.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they've stepped up a bit, and it's a lot better than it was. They're still not as good as, I don't know. It's different than 2K19. I wouldn't say it's better. I'd say the presentation's definitely better, and a lot of the dumb little things. There's also a GM mode, but it's pretty bare bones. I already have completed a 50-week GM mode. The coolest thing about it is there's like these nameless jobber guys that they made up. Well, they do have names, but they're like these jobbers that they made up for the mode that are hilarious. And you end up wanting to just use them all the time. But that's financial suicide. But yeah, I say check it out if you're a wrestling fan. If you're not, you'd have fun playing it at a friend's house. Horror-wise, I mean, you get a couple horror-themed wrestlers in there. You get your Undertaker. You get, if you pre-ordered it, you get like 5 Undertakers. Let's see. Yeah, you get Kane. No Fiend. It does have some of his parts in create mode. You get the possessed Alexa Bliss. She's in there. Trying to think of anyone else that might be a little more horror themed, but the pickings are kind of slim right now. Oh, Papa Shango. You get fucking Papa Shango. There you go.
Well, let's talk about a couple upcoming horror games since we're here. So we have Evil Dead, the video game coming out this year. I think it's in May. And I'm pretty excited about this because it really does feel like a love letter to fans of the Evil Dead franchise, because they have so many characters from that series. Cheryl from the original Evil Dead, Arthur from Army of Darkness, Scotty from Evil Dead. You have Pablo and Kelly from Ash vs. Evil Dead, which I'm excited about. If you pre-order now, you get the S-Mart costume and the Gallant Knight costume from Army of Darkness. Did I say Army of Dead? Army of Darkness. Sorry, before. Yes, I'm really excited about this game. As far as gameplay-wise, I still don't know a ton about it. But it's co-op and PvP multiplayer. It's going to be coming out on everything.
It sounds like either they're following like a Left 4 Dead format or they're following the Friday the 13th format, which I'm totally fine with. Texas Chainsaw Massacre does. I mean,
here's what it's basically the plot synopsis here from Bloody Disgusting is: work together as a team of 4 survivors, exploring, looting, crafting, managing your fear, and finding key artifacts to seal the breach between worlds, or take control of the powerful Kandarian demon to hunt Ash and his friends while possessing deadites, the environment, and even the survivors themselves as you seek to swallow their souls.
Okay, yeah, so it's a Friday the 13th game. Okay. Yeah, it's one of those asymmetrical or Predator, which me and my friends played the shit out of. Looking more forward to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but we've talked about that one already.
Well, we just found out Kane Hodder is going to be playing Leatherface in that game.
Yeah, he's doing all the motion cap, which he did for Friday the 13th also.
I'm a little kind of confused as to what the gameplay loop is going to be, because there was a recent interview on Bloody Disgusting a few days ago. You cannot kill the killers in this game, so you cannot kill Leatherface. There's not going to be a huge combat system, apparently, where you can team up on Leatherface. It's strictly about survival. There won't be a lot of weapons. So I'm like, okay, what are we going to be doing?
Escape. Friday the 13th, you would escape. You would hide until the time limit came out. Or if you got super lucky, you could kill Jason. It was near impossible to kill Jason. And there were so many escape options that there was really a lot you could do. You could call the police and have them show up. You could repair a car and drive away. You could repair a boat and drive a boat away. This one, it's probably all about survival.
Yeah, it's like a 3 versus 4 match structure with 4 players squaring off against Leatherface and 2 family members. I hope Chop Top is there. Apparently,
Chop Top will be there.
Playable maps include Leatherface's house and the gas station, with horror actors Scout Taylor Compton, Christina Klebe, and Sean Whalen also confirmed to play characters. It'll feature classic villains from the movies as well as brand new family members, and the events of the game will take place before Tobe Hooper's original classic. So I'm really excited for both of these. I think they'll be a lot of fun. So if you're a horror fan,
you
can
like
have
Chop Top in the prequel because you can just say he hasn't gone to Vietnam yet. Okay, because that's where he was during the first movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I don't know when this is coming out. I don't know.
They're not saying. When it's done, it's done.
But Evil Dead comes out in May. So
I am really looking forward to it. I do think that with it being so escape focused versus killing, you had to go through so many steps to kill Jason that it was damn near impossible.
yeah,
I mean, it was really hard. You had to have a good team to be able to do it. Most of the time, if you were a survivor, you would win by escaping or hiding for a really long time. Predator, though, I killed the shit out of some predators. But they could just blow you up and kill the whole map and nuke everything when you did that, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I love this kind of game, and I'm definitely buying both of these. I think they're going to be awesome. Just how much content is in the Evil Dead game is like surprising and awesome, because it always seemed like the rights were kind of fucked and the different franchises had their own sets of rights and they're all together now. So that's really cool.
yeah. I did want to give a shout out.
Give
to,
us an Elm Street, Zach. Give us an Elm Street.
We do need
Come
an
on.
Elm Street game. Come on, there's so much you could do with that. Imagine like, you're trapped in Freddy's house and you keep getting, sucked into different like nightmare scenarios. Like that would be
I'm
so cool.
concerned though, because they're specifically only licensing remake Freddy for anything. So like game wise, like Mortal Kombat remake Freddy, Dead by Daylight, is that the one with all the horror characters? That doesn't have regular Freddy either. It's prequel. I think because then they don't have to pay likeness rights to England or Jackie Earle Haley. So yeah, good times.
A couple other cool pieces of horror news. Rob Zombie's The Munsters was officially rated PG.
Which means, hey, maybe it's in the spirit of the original.
Yeah, and Cassandra Peterson is going to be in it. Elvira herself, which is awesome. I don't know who she's playing, but she's not playing anyone that looks like Elvira. She's playing someone else. Barbara Carr, the #1 real estate agent in all of Mockingbird Heights. That's great. That's awesome. So
Nice.
looking forward to that. Casey, Hail Ratma.
Yes.
Chloe Okuno, who directed the Storm Drain segment from VHS 94, has a film coming out starring Micah Monroe. Micah Monroe, I think one of the
Lead
best
singer of Hanoi Rocks.
yeah, one of the best modern
No,
final
that's
girls.
Michael Monroe. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Casey's favorite joke.
Yes.
But it's a movie called Watchers. It looks to be another spin on the kind of Rear Window subgenre that's becoming super popular these days. There was just that Amy Adams one. There was the Kristen Bell film, which my parents told me, or series, which my parents told me to avoid at all costs. The Woman in the House Across the Street from The Girl in the Window, which is just a hilarious title, and apparently is not a satire. Dude, I need to tell you how one of the... Okay, this is a brief spoiler on that series because it's so ridiculous sounding. I'm not going to get into much of the series, but Kristen Bell sees something happen to a neighbor across the street, and there's a whole bunch of twists and turns, and it's very, melodramatic and ridiculous, and the tone is all over the place. Supposedly, I have not seen this. If you're a fan of the show, talk to me, write us, let me know what I'm missing because I haven't watched it. I just know my parents really didn't enjoy it. So there's so Kristen Bell is estranged from her husband. Their daughter tragically died. And the way she died is fucking hilarious. So
Okay, wait.
In the
Are we
show,
talking
not in real life, in the show.
Are we talking stick your head out the window hilarious? Because there's a bar.
So Kristen Bell's character is named Anna, and her daughter is Elizabeth. I have not seen the show.
Oh, did Lex Luger kill her?
No, but her husband was a forensic psychologist or something, so he talks to some of the prisoners. So it was like bring your daughter to work day, and so the dad works at a prison. So he was dealing with a murderous serial killer who was eating 30 people. Ooh. And something happens, and the daughter gets left in the room with this guy who's eating 30 people.
Wow.
And it's implied that she was murdered and eaten by this guy when she was left in the room with him, this 8-year-old girl. That is that's one thing that happens on this insane show. My parents told me this, and I was like, "What? You're joking, right? That can't be real."
Sold. So
Like, this poor 8-year-old girl is eaten by some inmate. Like, what? How?
Wow.
How did no
Okay.
one go in there? How did she get left alone with this guy for that long?
that sounds like
It's terrible.
horrible sloppy writing, but
But the thing is, if it was like played for laughs and super goofy, it would work. But I don't think it really is.
I think the show's serious, right?
Yeah.
Or am I
I'm not
just
gonna-
missing something?
I'm not going to spoil anything else because there is another. Yeah. I just had to tell you that because it was so ridiculous. And
That's bad parenting. That's bad parenting. That's worse parenting. You know how I say that Pet Sematary is a movie about bad parents getting what they deserve? Yeah, maybe the show, same.
Yeah, that's just like so awful. Anyway, Chloe Akuno, Storm Drain was one of the best segments from VHS 94.
Yes.
I'd love to see a whole movie on Ratma as a cryptid fan, but I think this is gonna be great. Watchers, looking forward to that.
As someone who has stolen Ratma for his D&D campaign. Yes.
This has been a really random episode. I didn't think we were gonna get past like 20 minutes. But the fact that we're at an hour and 7 is insane to me. We'll see how much of this makes the cut. But thank you for tuning in, everybody. As always, make sure to follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/AMPHorror. You can subscribe to us on YouTube under Another Miserable Podcast. If you enjoy what we do, please consider leaving us a nice review on Apple Podcasts or whatever streaming service you listen to us on. We'd really, really appreciate that, guys. It would really help us out. And if there's anything you'd like to see us review, any movies you'd like to see us do a commentary on, if you have something you'd like to promote, if you're interested in being a guest on the show, write us at anothermiserablepodcast@gmail.com. We would love to have you on. We'd love to collaborate with you. We would love to hear from you. If you have any cool questions, topics you want us to discuss, please write us anothermiserablepodcast@gmail.com. Casey, where can they find you?
I have been told to promote Comatose Butter, the dopest spread, from my friend at Lucha Spawn.
What?
I did it. I don't know, dude. I did it.
Comatose, is that like a product? Comatose butter?
Yeah, you gotta look it up, I guess. At Lucha Spawn on Twitter. Find out.
Comatose butter.
Yeah, he's a good dude. One of my Australian homies from the MMM show. So yeah. I love having listeners on the other side of the world and people like I can talk to about video games and stuff. He was actually asking for my 2K review earlier. Yeah, so I told him we were recording this, and he said to plug that. But yeah, I can be found at Lucha Gringo on Twitter. Now that I'm talking about Twitter, Comatose can be found at Lucha Spawn on Twitter. No relation, but he's a good brother, so kind of a relation. Yeah. Zach, do you have Lucha in your Twitter name?
I do not. My Twitter is twitter.com/earth2zach, earth the number 2, Zach, Z-A-K. You can also follow me on Letterboxd, on Instagram as well, same handle. I tweet sometimes. I review things on Letterboxd sometimes. So yeah, follow me there if you feel so inclined. But yeah, stay tuned. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, especially. We definitely we'll do some more polls in the future. We do have our scary decom episode coming up. Also follow Kris, twitter.com/KrisPistol, KrisPistole. He'll be back with us next time. And he's on Letterboxd as well. Give him a follow. He's more active on Letterboxd than either Casey or I would say. So definitely check his Letterboxd out. And
yes,
thank you for tuning in.
Go see his reviews for what he sees at South by Southwest.
Yeah, he saw everything everywhere all at once, and I'm super jealous. That movie looks incredible, so I'm very excited to see it.
Yeah, that looks cool.
And he saw the new Nicolas Cage film as well, which looks great.
Oh, that really looks cool. God damn it. Okay, yeah.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much for supporting us. We're still rolling. We're still rocking. Stay safe. See you soon.